Good morning and welcome to the Unitarian Church in Fall River, Mass.
Welcome. Welcome to this morning, to this day, and to this opportunity for us to be together in community. Oh, and not that the weather's really cooperating, but welcome and happy spring. In my house, I have a flower garden just outside the front door. Walking out, seeing the little tiny buds of the adapter. I was like, oh, yay, it's on square. So welcome you who are a long time member, and welcome you who are new or newly arrived. This Unitarian Universalist congregation is a place where we can learn more about being human. We're not here because we figured it all out, not that we have figured out all the life questions, but because we think we've got it right, but rather we're here to learn more about living in this intense world. So I'm the Reverend Bill Zelazny, and I'll be leading today's service. A couple of you have asked if I've been here before. Yes, a long, long time before when I was in a different position. I was here working for a number of years ago. But my first opportunity to be with you on a Sunday morning, and I'm so happy that I've been invited to be here. So for this hour, we will gather to open our minds and our hearts, to release ourselves from needing to know it all right now, and with the burden of believing we have to be controlled, and that we either have to have all the answers or none. There is that wonderful gray area, which I've been talking about in a couple of minutes. So here in our songs and our silence, our words, our sharing, our prayers, our meditations, we can make space for new knowledge, new feelings, and new possibilities, and take root, knowing that it will take courage to think, to reflect, to be present. So come now, let us be together in our special communion. We'll light our chalice now. So as we will hallow this time together by kindling the lamp. So we join with me now in our acclamation. In number 473 in the hymn book, but it's right here. So love
is the earth, and service of its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth of love, and to help one another.
Opening hymn is Greeting the Day, number 42, Morning so fair to see. So this is the time and service where we have our announcements.
Kit, Ed. Yeah, Kit.
Hands being pointed in each direction, so.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much leading us in service, and we look forward to your mission, to your message today. And I have two other announcements. Let me start with the ordination of Ursula K. She is a student that has been coming to join us, leading us in service for several years, and she's being ordained on May 30th. So let me thank you, because you're all invited. I'm going to leave it up here, put your name on it, choose to come. And if you want, I can RSVP for us and we can talk with you. So you are warmly invited to celebrate the ordination of Ursula. The ceremony will be promptly at 10 o'clock at the historic chapel at Wellesley College, followed by her refreshment. Religious professionals may wish to roll, and if you do, it's called. And be there by 12:30 if they're roll up. Come celebrate this joyous occasion with us. So if you want to be there, I'll leave it right here. You can put your name on that. And the my final announcement is that we have another new minister joining us next week, her name is Joanna. And she will be here on Zoom. So that means we're all gonna be at home. So let me be sure you want to see how to do that, Jody, if you want to be here next week, because we won't be in church, we'll be on Zoom. She can't join us in person, and she's had this date for quite a while, so I didn't want to have to change it if I didn't have to. So we're gonna do Zoom, and the title of her sermon will be Until All of Us Are Free.
She's a youth minister getting in touch with the Jewish roots.
Yes.
She's going to a biblical school, in fact, and this service about Passover. And the reason it has been a night, we had Zoom only services up the wazoo lately because of snow and then heat problems. And it drives me crazy. We have to do it again. But she's got a health issue that she thought would be better right now, and it's not quite. And her medical team says she lives in Boston. Don't drive out of your neighborhood, or don't even be a passenger. Don't travel out of your neighborhood. But she can do Zoom. So we won't be here.
Right.
Thank you, Nancy. What was the name of that?
So for this morning, I have selected two readings. The first one is titled Working with Doubt, How to Move Through Life's Uncertainty by Sean Coyle. Sean is a licensed mental health counselor. Doubt is something that most of us are familiar with. It can show up in many forms and create a sense of hesitation, making it difficult to take the steps needed to move forward. For example, a person who has been struggling with a difficult relationship may start to doubt whether it's worth the effort to repair things, or even whether they deserve a healthy relationship. The cycle of doubt can leave us paralyzed, unsure how to act, or fearful of making the wrong choice. Worry and indecision are often the result of doubt. When we are consumed by worry, we cannot focus on anything else. We get stuck in the loop of what ifs. This kind of worry often makes us feel like we need to predict, control every possible outcome before we can move forward. But the more we try to control or overthink, the more paralyzed we tend to become. Indecision often follows in the wake of worry. We become so concerned with making the right choice that we become stuck, unable to decide or take action at all. We get caught up wanting certainty before we make a move. But here's the truth. Certainty is never possible. Waiting for doubt to disappear before taking action will leave us stuck. And our second reading is just a short excerpt from a novel by Paulo Coelho called Freedom. I've not read the whole book, but I found this wonderful book. When you find your path, you must not be afraid. You need to have sufficient courage to make mistakes, disappointments, defeats, and despair are the tools God uses to show us the way. Defeat and despair are the tools to show us the way. Will you join me now in the spirit of prayer, followed by some quiet meditation? Our prayer is inspired by a meditation that was written by Guin. Spirit of life. Life is complicated. There's so much to think about, so much which we need to react to, so much we probably need to do, think that we need to do. So when fear rises, may we find peace. When pain surfaces, may we find it evolve. When uncertainty and doubt come, which they inevitably will, may we not panic, but open our minds and our souls to listen for the voice of the universe and to the still small voice within us that may at least hint where we should go and what we should do. Spirit of life, amid all that is going on in our lives, may we have a quiet mind so that we may turn toward the dawn, turn toward the thaw, turn toward the rebirth of hope, as the world is now beginning to turn toward the thaw and the hope of life renewed. And make that hope burn brighter than doubt, There are fears that may be and fears that may be carrying. So that whatever it may come in the days ahead, we may live in calm and peace in holy moments of life. We'll sit now for a few moments with our own thoughts, our prayers, and meditation. For all of our private thoughts and prayers, we join together to say, Amen. Our second hymn for the day is sort of leading into the sermon that I have. Number 348. Guide my feet. You know, the universe sometimes helps us in subtle ways. You probably have experience for yourself when something happens that gives you a nudge in some way to resolve a problem. or to somehow realize or get a bit of information that helps you make a decision when you need to make a decision. So one such incident happened to me a year or so ago. I had announced my retirement a few months earlier than that from the church I was serving. But now I was having doubts. Oh yeah. Probably I assume several of you have gone through that experience in your life. You know, what have I done? So doubt about what life would feel like not having something to do every day. Doubt about money, big one. Doubt about where I was going to live. Doubt about how that would affect my relationship with my husband. All sorts of doubts. You know, sort of like all the regular doubts that I assume some of you or many of you had when we have a major change in our lives. But then the universe sort of came along and it revealed a poem to me written by an American poet, Albert Hofstadter. The poem. There's always that edge of doubt. Trust it. That's where new things come from. If you can't live with it, get out. Because when it's gone, we're on automatic. Repeating something that we have learned over and over again. Let your prayer be, save me from that tempting certainty that leads me back from the edge, that dark edge where first light breaks. Now that poem did not raise my doubts. I was still wondering, was I going to have enough money and how things were going to turn out with my new life. But it did give me a different perspective other than the fear and dread that was starting to develop in my soul, in my mind. Have you ever come up to that edge of knowing when you aren't sure what to do or to think or how to act? In other words, you move into that mental cloud of doubt. You move to that edge of doubt. So my guess is that almost everyone here has come to that edge where certainty ends, like a cliff. And before us is that edge of uncertainty, that ragged edge of not knowing. And I bet there are some people in this room this morning who are standing on that edge right now as they see their future just before them. Putting that sense of living with doubt into a painting or a movie, I would have a person standing at the edge of a ragged, wind-swept cliffs with wild waves crashing through the boulders below. You know, the type that we see in the film noir or other movies. Or perhaps it's not that dramatic in your life. Perhaps it's standing on a very high bluff, overlooking a beautiful rolling pasture below, and wondering how to get down to that beautiful rolling pasture. How to get down to that quiet place. Maybe there's a couple of cows and sheep there. Very beautiful. Now there are all sorts of things that can bring us to that edge of doubt, that is not knowing exactly how to proceed. A twist in a relationship, upheavals in a job, a major personal loss of some kind, change in our health. But surprisingly, even having success in something that puts us at the end of a major project or at the apex of our career ladder. Each of those as with so many other situations, give rise to that question: how do I respond to a life that's thrown at me? Where do I go next? What do I do next? Doubt is that uneasy feeling of uncertainty or lack of conviction, when the lines between emotion and reason are most likely blurred, and rational thinking may be challenged. Doubt will tug at our minds, often causing us to worry, or be fearful, or feel despair, or even panic. Now, doubt is so upsetting because as inquisitive beings, we want to find answers to problems, and then we want to have a clear path. We want to know what's in front of us. We want to know where things are going. Perhaps that's why newspaper articles or psychic and astrological readings are popular. They hold the promise of telling us exactly what we yearn to know about the future. We only have to decipher the meaning of these cryptic messages, and all will be revealed to us. Sort of like the couple of the messages that I had in the past few weeks that I looked up as I was preparing for a sermon. Between now and April 12th, you want what you want, but don't know how to get it. Sunday's back between the egotistic sun and philosopher Jupiter might lead you to ponder big life questions. Now, what's that? Indications, I love this one. Indications are good that you can progress toward your unrealized goals, unless a wild Saturn crashes through your third house. What does that mean? It's a rare person who's really comfortable with letting things play out as they may. Like I said, all of us, I think all of us want certainty in our lives. And it takes courage and trust to walk into the future, knowing that we don't know and don't have all of the details nailed down. Knowing that the next step might be right or maybe wrong. The next step may lead us nowhere or cause people to question our rationality. Or it could lead us to the golden gate to a glorious future. Having doubts about what is ahead for us can cause us to freeze, as we heard in the reading a few moments ago. But a person must take, and I emphasize the word must take, an intentional action to move past that edge of doubt. It just doesn't happen on its own. When we are stymied by doubt and fear, you can think that such feelings are completely unique to us. But fear and doubt are common in life. And when we hold on to that thought, that doubt and fear is common, that the power that it has over us will probably drain off because we know we are just part of what else is going on out there. And it's important to remember, I love this one, important to remember the aphorism that I came across from the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius. What stands in the way becomes the way. If we see a situation only as a blockage, rather than either just a part of the path forward or even a tool for moving forward, we can become overwhelmed and mentally shut down. What stands in the way becomes the way. But the most important thing is that we need to just trust ourselves. Now, some of us, I realize, have sometimes problems trusting ourselves. But that is really the most important thing, is to recognize that we have so many capabilities, so many things in the universe that's given to us. And that what takes us past the edge of doubt is this trust in ourselves. Like I said, the universe has given us powers of courage, powers of fortitude. If we just allow our mind and spirit to be open to trusting those powers in us. A seminary classmate of mine, Mary Julia, wrote a song about living through a period of doubt that expresses this sentiment. The song 396 in our grading book is, I don't know, I know this rose will open. I know this rose will open. I was going to sing it, but I'm so I don't sing it. This way. Unless you don't want to sing, that's a great. I know this rose will open. I know my fear will burn away. I know my soul will unfurl its wings. I know this rose will open. I saw something about it. That's great. Good melody. Mary explained that while the song is not what she had planned it to be, the song that came out at the time, and doubt, frustration, speaks directly to her and to all of us about living through doubt when it visits our minds. Perhaps, this should become already our mantra. I know this rose will open. I know my fears will burn away. I know my soul will unfurl its wings. I know this rose will open. In an interview with the UUA World, she said that she had originally set out to write a different song, about her life as an obituary assignment for a death and dying class at Starting School of Ministry. But as the deadline for submitting the assignment drew close, she still did not have an inkling of what to say. So she did what she says, she did what she often does. She composed some music, go out to her garden, sit with some paper, writing implements, some tea and a snack, do a little bit of meditation, walk around her garden, looking at flowers, waiting for inspiration. But this day, nothing came for her. And the clock is ticking. So, though, as she picked up everything and went back into the house, a little bit disappointed with herself, she realized that she was humming the melody under her breath. The words had come to her. It turned out that the whole song had come together, complete. Not about her life, how to move through confusion and doubt. This experience taught her, she says, that if we allow ourselves to be present in the moment, to listen, to not force a situation, to trust the universe, trust the spirit of life, trust the deep self, whatever you want to call it, that edge of doubt moves from being cliff. Now, while the answer may not be perfect and it may take more work to flesh it out, to move off that cliff, one does not need to see all the details. The important thing is to open oneself to the universe's gift of courage and trust that we'll figure it out as we move along, as we move down that path, away from the edge of doubt. Parker Palmer, probably many of you have read his works. Parker Palmer, American author and social activist, also tells a story about moving forward despite not having all the answers. If a person trusts themselves. Palmer once found himself in a vocational crisis. So I went to a personal retreat at Kendall. Kendall is a Quaker retreat center in southern Pennsylvania. He talked with people about a situation. And he got back from them typical Quaker philosophy. The way will open. Proceed as the way opens. However, for him, after several weeks of Quaker silence, prayer, and listening for that call, the call of the way, nothing happened. Nothing opened for him. One day, the elder Quaker woman finally gave him the perspective he needed, and she said, I'm a birthright of prayer. And in 60 plus years of living, the way has never opened. But a lot of ways closed behind me. And that had the same kind of impact. So whether it's the way opening in front of us or doors closing behind us to move forward, what it all comes down to is trusting ourselves to make a move to go past that edge of doubt. As Steve Jobs once said, you can't connect the dots moving forward. You can only connect them looking backwards. So you have to trust that the dots will somehow connect in your future. You have to trust in something, your gut, destiny, life, karma, whatever. And this project has never let me down and has made all the difference in my life. Trust is not an attitude or a perspective of our life. Trust is not a condition of only believing that everything will work out. It is an affirmative behavior dealing with situations. To trust is to proceed from an assumption that things will work out. Now, they may not work out exactly as we wanted them to, or as we thought they were going to. But we need to trust the universe, trust that spirit of life, trust that deep self, and to accept that a rational, logical process will bring us to a solution that will allow us to move past that edge of doubt. Again, part home. Some journeys are direct. Some journeys are circuitous. Some are heroic. Some are fearful and muddled. But every journey, honestly undertaken, stands a chance of taking us where we belong. Be willing to trust that journey. Be willing to move past the edge of doubt. So be it. Amen.
Offertory. Offertory.
Offertory. Oh, yes. The important thing, yes. Most important. So the Reverend Victoria Weinstein from the Unitarian Universal Church of Greater Guin, Massachusetts, suggests that at this time of the service, we take up a collection, we remind ourselves that the offering is symbolic as well as practical. We know that our financial gifts fund this congregation programs and operations. But the offering is also a community expression of symbolically bringing the secular to this sacred hour, to this sacred place. The offertory says that the act of giving is as essential to our spiritual well-being as anything else that we need here on Sunday morning. The morning offering will I'll be grateful to use. Wonderful that Mary Saul just showed up. Must have we were right after the beautiful piece of music. It's wonderful. Thank you. So I know that each of us have joys and sorrows in our lives, and we also like to sometimes like to share them with others, because sharing our joys and our sorrows magnifies them for us, or helps us or magnifies our joys and helps us through the time of sorrow. So, if you have a joy or sorrow you would like to share right now, the mic is right over here, and we welcome you to share.
When I happened to speak with Tracy last evening, and she's not feeling well. She's short of the sandwich. She's not moving today. Well, she is. I mean, well, hi, Tracy. I'm glad you're able to do that because we miss it. And I have one other thing of nervous. My son's coming to visit me today, and I don't see him that often. So, to church. I'll be hanging out with my son. But it's Friday. That's nice. Yeah, he's 7 and wonderful man. And I'm so big. Mother, he's very tired. He's so fishy. Thank you. Good to see you.
Okay, an announcement. The Troy, but March 28th, starting this Saturday, there's another No Kings protest. So if you're at all interested, if you Google it, it's all over the internet. And it's the 20th. And yes, I'll be there.
So I was here today, this is going back to the past, but, you know, so nice to see Kristen therapy and she was, believe it or not, we had quite enough children at church school many years ago. And Kristen was a teacher in the church school, so it was looking to see her and to see a lot of things. And we hard-drive her the other night by telling her how old her kids are. And you put your 50 points in your, as long as she, when she was a student, she did teacher. And we had to let her know her. So that was kind of
You didn't have any children to bring with you today? Did you didn't have any children to bring with you today? Oh, okay.
yeah.
Well, I have a joy on something I saw on television. Yesterday, a child from the Children's Hasbro Cancer had beaten cancer. 10 years old, he was able to ring his bell, walk around with the police, and they did a parade with all the sirens. And it was such an emotional thing for me, because what he said was something I had said. And this is crazy, because he said to the reporter, "I just want to live. Cancer cannot beat me. I don't want it to beat me. I want to live." And when I was 11 years old and they told me about my heart condition, and they said, "Oh, you can't do this, you can't do that, you got to be careful, blah, blah, blah." And I said, "No, I can't. I have to live my life." Here I am 50 years later, still going, but I have a defibrillator, 25 years, and I'm still going. So I don't want to give up. And I know there's a song and a hymn a woman saying, fear is a liar. Because I didn't have fear. And that's why I know fear is a liar, because it lied to me and told me, oh, you can't do that. But guess what? I can. I can survive. That child survived. And here he is 10 years old with cancer, and he beat it. And he was so happy having his last day of chemo. And it was like the most, I was like, wow. And I say to don't give up. You never give up no matter what the ailment is. I've been surviving now. I got a AA battery I need to return. It sounds funny. I got a machine inside me with a AA battery, and I need the doctor to replace it soon. And I'm like, really? Is this what we live in today? A battery that's keeping me alive. So I know I didn't want to give up when I was a child and they kept telling me, you can't do this. I wanted to be a baseball player. Can't do it because the exercise, all that, it's bad for your heart. I understand that 50 years later, here I am going to celebrate my 62. Wow, I'm saying 62 years old. And my doctors told me I'd be lucky to live till I'm 25. And here I am. Wow. Fear? Fear is a liar, man. Not in my book.
Do keep track of what are the new batteries and what are the used batteries, right?
Yes. Well, they are 7-year batteries.
So 7, oh my.
7 years, which is supposed to be good luck. Oh, and another thing, Tracy is online, just so you know that she said that was sick and she's online.
Oh, so that. Yeah.
So our closing hymn is number, so our closing hymn is number 295. Sing out, praises what the journey. We are on a journey. We did not plan it. Surprises will come along the way. Questions will arise. We will sometimes not know which way to go or what to do. And part of our way is to trust. But hold on to the faith in yourself. The road will become smoother. A blessing on us all. Amen. The